It was 5:26 p.m. Like, I remember the time because I was like, this is not, I was just frozen. I just couldn't believe it. Like, I've experienced weird things in my life. This is by far the closest thing to instant manifestation that I've ever felt. I still can't believe this happened, to be honest with you. Which includes what matters, what really matters, right? Like, what's important in my life. That's changing very fast. Yeah, it's like developing this ability to bring your subconscious into the conscious mind and apply it to how you see life, basically. Hi, my name is Agustina, and I have been experimenting with OBEs. So the purpose of this video is to share my process. So yeah, this episode is going to be about integration, because integration is something that is often ignored because it's uncomfortable, right? At the same time is where the actual work is. So I want to share my experience and what happened when I tried to ignore a very necessary integration process. Things change when you come out of your body and you see your body laying in the bed, your physical body laying down on the bed. Things change, right? It's gonna happen. There's gonna be a strong identity shift that I feel like it's inevitable the moment you go through that. So I thought that I knew that I was a soul, but I didn't know it. Like, now I know for sure. And so things change when that happens. And the transformation comes after the OBE, not during, it's not in that moment. It's like, how do I bring this into this plane? Because I am still living in a body. I still have an ego that doesn't love the idea of shifting my identity from my ego into my soul, right? Because like, most people think they're in their soul, but they're really not. Like, let's be honest. And so ignoring the integration process, basically, it leads to physical symptoms. Hopefully not. Hopefully you can catch it before that, but that's what happens, right? Like, the body is like where it lands. And my journey was going at full speed. This came in quickly, right after my journey. But there's also a lot of miracles that happened. Like, once I integrated things, a lot of very evident miracles came by. And by the way, I am going through another episode, you could call it. I have allergies right now, so I did it again. So I didn't learn my lesson. So I decided to record this just as a reminder for myself as well. But hopefully it helps you, because I'm going to share a lot of information here. If I look down, by the way, I have my notes here, just to keep track of what all the things that I want to say. But yeah, I guess I'll start with the build-up. Right after my first OBE, which was a month and a half ago, I really went into like, I want to have another one right away, right? Like, I was like, wow, that was amazing. Like, I want to have another experience. I thought it was all about just having these journeys and come back and just with information, like, easy, right? But well, so I was going really fast. Right after my OBE, that same week, I started doing dream work. And that has like exponentially accelerated the whole process, like in such an incredible way. And so I started having very deep symbolic dreams. My lucidity increased a ton. I used to have lucid dreams like maybe once or twice a year, and now it's like once or twice a week. But yeah, so basically, and also it started to become very evident for me, because it was showing up in dreams very clearly, this change of identity, right? There was a lot of symbolic dreams that had to do with identity. Like, I kept dreams with like my IDs. Like, it was so funny. So many dreams with like having to put my ID somewhere else, or like having them destroyed, or yeah, anyways. I'll do another episode where I share like where I go deep into how I do it, because I think it's kind of unique. So anyways, and I started ignoring the signs, right? Like I started having anxiety and I ignored that. And it became a bit like an obsession as well. I kept saying like, you're fine, keep pushing. Like you just need another one, right? Like a little bit like an addiction. And then the crash was when I started having all these symptoms at the same time, all of them at the same time. Maybe with like 1 or 2 days like apart, but like in 1 week I started having really bad back pain, allergies, which I thought I had under control. Now like they're coming back. I started having digestive pain, which I never have. Headaches, really low energy. Anyways, like it got really bad. And this really shows that this process is not linear, right? Like for me, it started very like I thought I was peaking, and then like my body just brought me right down to be like, okay, this cannot be ignored, right? So I was like, okay, I need to just slow things down. And so the integration, what it looked like for me, basically I stopped everything that I was doing, like the dream work, the research. I stopped watching any videos like related to OBE or Darius J. Wright, like just the whole thing, like I stopped. And I actually started watching TV again, which I haven't done in almost 6 months. My journey with TV, like I have a kind of an addictive personality. And so like with TV is very soothing for me. I can watch TV all day if I wanted to. But when I started watching NDEs, it became very clear to me that I had to stop, because I noticed the difference between like watching the interviews and watching TV, like how different I felt. So yeah, I naturally stopped, and it wasn't hard, but like this week I was like, I need some soothing. And so I allowed myself to just watch TV again. And then after a couple of days I stopped, because I noticed like it wasn't good for me either. So I went for a lot of walks. Being out in nature is like the best thing for me, at least. It's like so healing. And just try to feel. So the integration process is about feeling, not thinking, right? I was coming from like a lot of analyzing and integrating, but more into like the intellectual way and symbolic way. But the integration is about feeling, and you can't feel with your mind. In order to feel, you need to feel with your body, right? So I allowed myself to cry a lot. I listened to a lot of music, and music that was a little bit, I don't want to say sad, but like nostalgic, right? So like it helped me cry, because I had like energy that I needed to let out. And so that was very helpful. I can share the playlist down below if you want, in case you're going through that and it's helpful. Okay, so what I was crying about was this shift of identity, right? Like I didn't understand it fully, but I just needed to cry. I just needed to cry about it. It's, sometimes you need to do that before you even understand what's going on. And I felt the fear of the unknown. That was a big one too. Like I had to be honest with myself when I was like going, like, yeah, keep going. Part of that, like when you're trying to just keep going, is because it's scary. And so you don't want to pause, because if you pause, then you have to feel. And if you feel, it's scary. So like, it's like, you can get a little stuck in this loop of like avoidance. And so really, I tuned into that fear of like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know where this is going to lead me. I don't know how much my life is going to change after this. Like, are people even going to like me anymore? Because I can't even do chit chat anymore, which I couldn't do before. Like, I could fake it before, and now like I'm having a lot of trouble becoming very aware that, I might lose some people in this process, because, in my experience, just having changed my identity so many times, and change of identity is a natural part of growing, right? Like I'm not saying I'm changing identity like a crazy person. It's something that comes with growth. So yeah, that's how I did it. That's the how. of the experience in case it helps. If you're going through it and you don't know where to start, those are some suggestions. Basically, nature, walks, things with the body. If you need to move your body, showers, like just warm showers are really helpful for me too. Like water is very soothing. If you need to watch TV, do it. Cry, music, right? Those are some of the things that I mentioned. So, and after that, it became like I started seeing things with a lot more clarity. It was great. Like, and it's still not like super super clear to me, like what is happening, because I'm in it. Like I'm still in it, right? Like I'm going through an integration process right now. So I know that this work has a lot to do with the liminal. There's something about the in-between that becomes very clear. It's about bringing the subconscious to this plane. There's this process of like doing that just makes you change your perspective on everything, basically. So, because the ego is not leading anymore. Like it's still leading, of course, but like it's changing. That's changing. Like my soul is starting to lead. So like this shift is like from my body and my ego to my soul and my higher self and my true authentic self, right? Like the self with capital S. How I'm seeing the world. I see the world completely different now. And also like I'm studying with Darius J. Wright. So like, a lot to see there. Like I still want to see things for myself, but like he has a lot to say about like what the world really is, right? My priorities are changing. I still don't know in like how many ways, which includes what matters, what really matters, right? Like what's important in my life. That's changing very fast. Everything looks like a lesson now. Like I go for walks and like I was a little bit like that already, but now it's like I'm really full on. Like everything I see, every person I encounter, every conversation that I have, I see the lesson in it. And I feel like honestly that's the dream work that I've been doing. Like it's just massive. And just seeing the game, right? Like just seeing the world for what it is, which is a game. And more about that later when I tell you about a miracle that I experienced. And so many symbols where I already, I kind of said that already, but like, the first day that I started my integration process, like I noticed the dragonflies were really like trying to get my attention. And I know I'm like a crazy person when I say that, but they were. And I searched for the meaning of dragonflies, and it's literally like they're guides between like the liminal spaces, like they come from, like they're messengers from the spirit world. And I was like, what? That can't be it. Like just so incredible. And yeah, just seeing everything like a mirror, like everything, like nothing is random anymore. Everything is a symbol. So yeah, and this integration is really like this bridge between the old and the new, right? Like that's why it's so important, because if not, you get stuck like halfway, right? Like you might have the journey, the experience, the OBE, but if you don't integrate it, it ends up like out of balance, right? Because like you only have like one part of the story. Like you just need to discern it intellectually, feel it. Like you have to do all the bodies together, right? Like the emotional, the mental, the soul, the physical, like all of it, right? So it's really like, yeah, it's like developing this ability to bring your consciousness, your subconscious into the conscious mind and apply it to how you see life, basically. Okay, so I want to share a couple miracles that I experienced. So the first one, this was after like a week after my integration process. I was sitting at my computer doing some work, and I shared a little bit about this in my first OBE episode, where I had an issue with a client, and that issue continues because basically the client decided not to pay for some money that he very much owes me. And I was sitting in my computer just looking at that unpaid invoice and just really getting into my head about it. Like, what if he doesn't pay any of the money? Like, because he decided he wasn't going to pay for like a portion. And I just started to really stress and being like, what if it goes like a year from now and he still hasn't paid? And so I decided to just stand up and go outside and water the plants. And I was like, some nature is going to be good for me. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I was like, okay. So all of a sudden, like, it kind of hit me. And I was like, this change of perspective. I was like, wait a minute. This is just a game. Let's play the game, okay? Like, so I already knew what the lesson was, right? Like, which was not paying attention to my intuition. Because like my first meeting with this guy, I saw a lot of red flags. I could feel it, that something was off, and I just ignored it, right? So I realized that this is a game. Like, I have this very clear feeling, like, what are you doing? Why are you stressing about this guy? It's not about the guy. It's about me. So I look up and I'm like, okay, I learned a lesson, and I tell this client, I'm like, thank you, name of the client, thank you for showing me the cost of not paying attention to my intuition. Thank you. Thank you for showing me that. I am done with this. I don't need this anymore. I get it. I don't say this out loud. I say this in my mind because I do have neighbors. So, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. I decide to go inside. And so less than a minute goes by. Like, I do that. I come inside. I sit down in my computer again. I open my computer, and I kid you not, at the same time I'm opening my computer, I receive an email for the payment of this client. And I just double checked the time. I was like, this is not possible. Like, it was 5:26 p.m. Like, I remember the time because I was like, this is not, I was just frozen. I just couldn't believe it. Like, I've experienced weird things in my life. This is by far the closest thing to instant manifestation that I've ever felt. I still can't believe this happened, to be honest with you. He still didn't pay the portion that he didn't, that he said he wasn't going to pay. But at that point, I was worried he wasn't going to pay for any of the money, right? So like, now I can let this go. I'll let him have it. It's fine. I don't need to worry about it anymore. I learned my lesson, right? Like, this is about the lesson. It's not about the guy. It's not about teaching him a lesson. It's not about any of that, right? So able to let this go. So that was the first one. The second one is a little weird, but I'll share it. So I was driving with a couple of friends in the car, and I was telling them this story that, because we were talking about birds for some reason. And yeah, the story that when I used to live in Boulder, it was full of crows, and they tend to be very aggressive. So I told them this story that once I saw this crow just beating the heck out of this pigeon, this dove. Like, I hunt and like I try to bring the car there, but like, I don't know, like, I just continued driving. And I didn't share this with them, but like, that story stayed with me because I felt bad about it. It was like, I still think like maybe I should have done something, right? Just like, but that's also nature, right? So just, anyway, so something that just stayed in my system, So I'm sharing that story, and they're like, oh, wow, yeah, that's, and like, again, less than a minute goes by. I kid you not, we all saw it. I have witnesses for this story. There's a freaking dove, like, just sitting in the middle of the road, just sitting, just like standing in the middle of the road. It was not moving. And so I'm like, oh my God, is that a dove just like frozen in the middle of the road? So like, of course I stopped the car. I was able to grab the dove because it was like, I don't know if it was in like shock or something, or if it just couldn't move. I don't have no idea. I just put it on the side of the road, which that's a different story. I did regret that because I did come back for it later and it wasn't there. There was like feathers. But yeah, anyways, I tried to save it, and because it was gonna get run over. Like that was very obvious to me. So yeah, that that happened like a minute after I told the story about the dove on the road. It was just, there was a dove again. It was like, anyways, there's a lot of symbolic meaning around that, but basically, yeah, it's about like rescuing a part of me that that I'm starting to work with. That's just like deeper stuff that I'm not gonna get into, but yeah, it was just fascinating. Yeah, and like also the dream work has been just increasingly fascinating to me. Lately, I have started seeing how it all relates to the hero's journey. So I guess I'm gonna have to do an episode that is like full into detail about that, because yeah, it's way too much information. But something that I'm seeing is that it's like all of these parts from the hero's journey, which maybe you're not familiar with it. In case you're not familiar with what the hero's journey is, I did look up for like the quick summarized version, because like I'm not an expert about it, but basically it was written by Joseph Campbell in 1949, I think it was. Yeah. Is the idea that most myths and stories share the same core structure, right? And it's like a mystery. Like we don't know why this happens. It's not like people know about it and they write about it in that structure. It's something that happens naturally over like thousands of years, right? So, and basically it's like the basic structure is like the hero leaves the ordinary world, is called into an unknown realm, faces trials and inner conflicts guided or opposed by archetypes, figures, which can be the mentor, the shadow, the trickster, the allies, and undergoes a profound transformation and then returns home changed as integration, bringing new wisdom or gifts to the community. So, and here I am sharing this podcast with you. That's the gift, my gift to you. But yeah, anyways, it's fascinating. I've always been fascinated by the fact that something like that exists, and like it already shows you how weird this reality is, right? There's so much mystery about it. But yeah, it's been fascinating that my dream work, all these characters, all these archetypes that are part of the hero's journey are starting to appear, and like they repeat, like they come up in more than one dream, and like that archetype becomes even more clear as I observe it even more. And ChatGPT is helping me with that because I don't know that much about archetypes, so it's been really truly fascinating. Something I really want to say about the dream work before I do that episode is that I've noticed people usually do dream work. They don't do dream work. They usually see dreams as like they have nothing to do with them. Like I've noticed this a lot with just friends, and just this idea that like, oh, this, I met this man, I don't know who he is, and or this woman, I don't know, or like this, there was this dog and I don't know what that means. So everything has to do with you in the dream. It's all about you. It's your subconscious just is the dimensional space of thought becoming a reality for you to discern and explain and like decipher the metaphor. Like what does this mean about you, right? It always has to do with you, and like the details and the apparent random details, those are the juicy ones, because those are the ones that are very symbolic. So yeah, and like with the hero's journey, what I've noticed is that all these characters, they come up. So it's not linear. It's kind of all happening at the same time. It's really strange. Like I'm crossing the threshold. At the same time, I have the gatekeeper. I'm on the belly of the whale. It's kind of all happening at the same time, which which makes it a little like overwhelming, but it's just fascinating, and it really helps you put like context into like what is really happening, and all related to my OBE and my OBE journey and my change of identity, right? So So yeah, I believe that's all I wanted to share. Just to share an invitation, like if you notice that you are having some signs of like overload or overwhelming, like if you're feeling a little anxious or tired, just pay attention to those signs, because it's not going to go away until you face it, right? So it's better to catch it like before it really forms. For me now, I'm starting to see a pattern, right? Like this was 3 weeks ago, and now like I'm having symptoms again. Like yesterday I had like my head was like so heavy, and like also I need to discern, like I don't know if like it's because I know there's a lot going on like energetically in the planet as well. So like I still don't know if this has to do with that or if it's like my own process. So, but yeah, just pay attention to what you notice. If you and if you start noticing physical body symptoms, like I recommend just trying the things that I mentioned and anything else that you come up with, and see if you're rushing after an OBE, right? Because I noticed this with myself, and like in Darius' group I see this all the time, where like people really want to have another one right away, right? And because that's the fun part, is to have the OBEs. The fun part, for the most part, I mean, there could be not fun OBEs, but I feel like the integration is the not so fun part, but necessary. So it is the real work, and it's hard. It requires you to surrender, to feel, to be uncomfortable, and to become a new you. And that's all. It's not easy work, and I feel like it's gonna be keep coming in layers, right? Like it's not like one integration is done. Like okay, I'm done. Like I move on. So I'm seeing now, because I have symptoms again, that it's probably just keep integrating and noticing and feeling into it. So anyways, that's all I wanted to share. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and let me know in the comments if you can relate to any of this. I would love to know. Anyways, thank you so much, and I'll catch you later.